it's kind of tough sometimes to see something in 3D that is always drawn out in 2D and only gives you two sides to look at. So I drew up this little model that shows where the panel is, where the clips go for the panel and all the fasteners, and how those attach to the girts, and then after that, how the girts attach to the light gauge metal below that. Then I put a little side view to show how that would look in a section view. I put a link to the model in this PDF, just in case anybody wants to look at it and play around with it. I just thought this would be a good document for training purposes for later.
This is probably one of the hardest things to explain sometimes. And then once you explain it for one panel system, it's different for another. But this was really good to get something down to help going forward and visualize it. So thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, it does. It helps you to be able to see it and picture it. Is it a metal panel system? A composite?
This one's ACM. I just basically
ACM?
stripped one of my details and threw it on there. So like this specific one was an end panel, just so I could have two different kinds of girts.
What is the yellow part? Can you back it up? Yeah.
That's like where the panel clips onto. So you have the connection from the panel to like that kind of U-shaped piece.
It's almost like a hat piece that fits in there, and that clips into the other panel that's adjacent to it too. Is that right?
Right. You can imagine there's like another panel here, another panel here, another panel here.
Yeah, those are they're in some panels they're pop riveted to the ACM panels. They're like the continuous extrusions that run around the sides of the panel.
Yeah, so in this case, it doesn't really show that the panel has, 4 downturned corners. Is that right?
Right. It shows one though.
One downturned corner.
Right there, and it connects. It connects on the side, right there.
Yeah.
Good diagram to show when training people to show the load path, and hopefully, Gary, when you were putting this together, it kind of forced you to see, okay, what is the load path, right? How does the panel transfer the load all the way to the girt, and that's a good kind of like a good process to follow whenever you're looking at panels. They're fairly the same throughout, throughout manufacturers and different types of panels. They kind of follow the same load path. Each one has its own little variations, but if you do make sure that there isn't like a gap in your load path, then you're setting yourself up to like a good design for all the anchorage. And I think, yeah, this diagram definitely helps for that. Also, one thing that I was talking with Stuart a couple of days ago, I know Kyle put together a lessons learned some time ago about moving loads, and you can see that there's a lot of variations that could combine for different type of loadings. Really, the only thing that is like static of a panel is the spacing of the light gauge metals. All the other components could be spaced differently. Vertically, those Z-girts could be spaced differently. Where they anchor to the panels, they could be differently. But a word of caution would be, and I've been wanting to put together a lessons learned about the background of what happens behind the equations of moving loads in RISA. I would recommend that everybody that's using the moving loads in RISA really understands, okay, what goes behind it. Because if we recently had a project that an engineering was questioning our reaction loads that from a RISA model that was using moving loads, and it took me some time to have to go back and validate those by hand. So like in most softwares that we use, we really want to be sure that we can validate whatever the software is spitting out. We can validate it by hand somehow. And I think that this moving load thing applies mostly for like panels and maybe handrails. So I'll work on that lesson learned here in the next couple of weeks and try to present something.
Garrett, it's really nice. I like it. It really does help to highlight the load paths.
Thank you.